Hi, everybody, and welcome. Our worship service will begin shortly. We're not starting right this minute. But I do want to ask you, as you are asked every week, to take a moment to look around the sanctuary to locate the nearest exit sign. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please proceed calmly toward that exit or your backup one and head toward the parking lot. If an evacuation becomes necessary, please also keep an eye out for others who may have mobility challenges, or be unfamiliar with the building. Our community does take care of each other. Good morning, and my name is Jean Larson, and I use she, her pronouns. I have the honor of being your worship associate this morning. Please take a moment to put your mind, spirit, and cell phones into worship mode. We welcome everyone here and online to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. We really are glad you're with us. Please take a moment to turn or stand if you wish and greet those joining us online. Anyone online who wishes to share your joys and concerns during the Lifelines portion of the service, please put them in the chat in the next 15 minutes. The land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that our church resides on the traditional land of the Tulo and Monacan nations and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. May our gratitude and fellowship here echo and honor that rich history. Please join me in reciting our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness or overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all. Welcome here. And as we recite the covenant together, remember there's a line break after the word force. You just can't see it. Okay. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world. Thank you.
Please rise as you are able. Turn to your hymnals number 21 for the Beauty of the Earth, and join us and be a force for song. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth us lies. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, full and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship and our share, for our gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Oh, wow. Get my throat clearing as a bonus. Good morning. I am the Reverend Jen Raffensperger. It's my honor to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. Welcome on this first official Sunday of spring, when it's going to be like in the North 80s, y'all. Bless. I love the roller coaster of weather we have all been on. So we have a little bit of, there's a few things I need to give you notice about before I get to the actual opening words. For one thing, today is a multi-generational service. It was not necessarily planned to be this way. And I want to share with you all that our Director of Religious Education, Faith Formation, Jesse McEwen, has had to take a leave of absence to deal with a family emergency. We know that they are okay. I am not at liberty to share details at this time, but please keep them in your thoughts. And we will all be helping each other look out for one another of every age during the next couple of weeks. They were already planned to be on vacation the next 2 Sundays from this one, so it's really just one extra Sunday. But we will be doing a story this morning, but our kids are staying with us. As always, there's activities, coloring, and things to amuse yourself out on the rainbow table in the lobby. And so we welcome the fact that we've got an extra chance to all stay together today. It's a blessing in its own way. Now, before I get to the opening words, I want to take a moment to give attention to the larger world before we settle down to worship this week. On Thursday evening, Muslims the world over broke their final Ramadan fast of the year with their iftar meals, beginning the celebration of Eid al-Fitr, Eid Mubarak to all who celebrate. On Friday morning, we in the Northern Hemisphere welcomed the vernal equinox, the beginning of spring. Along with that celebration comes the Persian celebration of Nowruz, a celebration of the new year. This holiday originated with Zoroastrianism, and while it is now mainly a cultural celebration for people across many cultures, it is still a holy day in some faiths. This is a season of renewal, and yet we know the shadow of war is heavy on so many who would otherwise find this time of year cause for celebration. While we take time today to celebrate the arrival of spring and the sense of abundance that it brings us, let us now consider those living in conditions of war with a moment of silence. Thank you. Now we turn our attention to this week, here, our time together in our own community. We welcome and celebrate the coming of spring, or summer in this instance. And we also welcome the coming of our annual stewardship campaign. We are talking about abundance in many forms today, from the blossoms of spring to the gifts that we humans provide to one another, to the generosity that not only sustains our congregation, but allows us to dare to dream big, to share the abundant joy of Unitarian Universalism right here in the Roanoke Valley and surrounding regions. You're going to be hearing from our stewardship co-chairs later, but our opening words this morning were selected by them to inspire this year's campaign. They are from a book from motivational speaker Zig Ziglar called See You at the Top. Life is an echo. What you send out comes back. What you sow, you reap. What you give, you get. What you see in others exists in you. And now I will invite Jean to light our chalice, the flaming chalice of our shared Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. It's being lit in churches, congregations, and communities around the nation and the world this morning, and we join with them in this act. And the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to rest and not to But Scott's also putting on this hat this morning because I learned something fun. But actually, first, so this is the technically children's message, but it really, anybody that wants to come forward and sit up here, young or young at heart, come on forward. But we may be asking you to participate and help us out a little bit, even if you stay in your seats. So come on up if you want to. But if you don't, that doesn't necessarily mean you're off the hook. Hello. Hello, hello, thank you. So, who here has heard, and show of hands, the story of Stone Soup? You guys know Stone Soup? You guys don't. Okay. Wow. All right. And a lot of people do. So, Scott, I noticed that your hand didn't go up.
That's right. I don't know that story.
Uh-oh.
This is not a plant. I really don't. You know.
I didn't know that Scott didn't know this story until I talked with him. And I said, well, you know Stone Soup. And he was like, nah.
No.
So,
I'm here representing the grown-up children.
Yes.
So.
And actually, our younger people here also are like, nah, I don't know that one, which I feel it. And this is an important cultural moment because I assumed this would be a story that most people were familiar with. And a lot of us are, but there are definitely people who aren't. So what I would like to do is ask for help from the people who do know it in telling it to the people who don't. Somebody, how does Stone Soup start? Does somebody want to volunteer how it starts? Yes, Terry. Okay. Terry, you're amazing. And this is
I
not,
know that one.
Yes, and this is not the way where we actually need to go around and have everybody fill in a line because that will take forever. What's the basic premise at the start of Stone Soup? What's happening? Okay, Terry again. Yes. 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 Wow, y'all, Terry did a great job of projecting, but yes. to repeat for people online, there was hunger across the I'm not going to be able to do it justice to the way Terry delivered it. But there was a time where there was a land where there were a lot of people who were hungry. And it's interesting because there's so many different versions of this story. Terry started telling us that there was somebody who decided that he had an idea about stone soup. I saw a hand over here. Cindy? Wow, I should have thought about this and handed microphones around because you all are doing a great job. Lowell, I'll get to you in a second. Let me sum up for the people who weren't microphoned.
3 soldiers.
Hold on, Lowell. Lowell, I want to hear your variation, but we also have only so much. So Cindy introduced the version that I'm more familiar with, wherein it is an outsider who is also hungry who comes to town and does not succeed in getting anyone to give them food because they're all hungry too. There's scarcity. Lowell.
Yeah, so 3 soldiers were returning from the war, and they had no food. They were walking, came to a town, and they asked the town, feed us 3 hungry soldiers. Town people said no. And so they said, well, we'll just feed ourselves. We'll make stone soup. That's how the story came to
So that's interesting, Lowell. I don't know that I ever heard the version where the people who are hungry and asking other people for food are 3 soldiers returning from war. But in all of these beginnings, and I'm sure there's more, but again, time. So in all of these, whether it's somebody in the town or somebody from out of town who just happens to be passing through, or 3 soldiers, they start in the center of this town to make stone soup. What do? They boil a big pot. Yep.
And they put stones in it.
Right. Right, and Jane, thank you. So Jane noted, again, for people who can't hear or online with the microphone, the 3 soldiers or the 1 person or whoever they are start boiling a giant, like almost like a cauldron, so like a very large pot, a very large bowl full of water and stones. And people get so curious that they come out of their houses and go, how does that even work? And wait a second, I have parsley, or I have a potato. Lois, yes.
Many school teachers, elementary school teachers, do this story with their children. I can't believe these people don't know it. And the children are assigned a vegetable or something to bring,
Right.
and they actually put a stone in. You have to do that.
Yes. Yes, Lois reminds us that this is often told in schools. That's where I learned it. Lois expressed surprise that people don't know this story, but again, cultural differences, what schools we went to, where we were raised, maybe we had other lessons, but sometimes in classrooms this is actually done where you actually have like a little hot pot and you put a rock in it with water and every child is assigned a vegetable to bring to make this soup together. I remember it being terrible. But the point of the matter is that no matter what it tastes like, eventually people realize, so if I have a potato or a group of parsley or 2 carrots, I might feel really hungry, right? Like I don't have anything to eat. What am I going to eat? I eat 2 carrots, I'm done, and then I don't have any food, right? But what slowly happened is that people, like whether they were 3 soldiers or somebody from out of town or somebody from in town who just had an idea, they all actually started going, well, wait, I have something. I don't have nothing. So what can we make out of all our separate somethings that actually nourishes all of us, right? Scott, do you have any comments on this story?
I think it is wonderful. I think also, in my defense, no self-respecting Southerner would try to make stone soup. I mean, Grandma is rolling over in South Carolina. But no, what a great example of how, from small beginnings, if we each brought something to the table, to the cauldron, to the offering plate, maybe.
Yes.
Right? Is that where we're going
That's
with this?
where we're going. Wow, Scott, you are super smart. Great job.
I get to keep my job.
Wait, Bonnie has stood up. This is what, Bonnie? What do you have to tell us? Oh, Bonnie notes that the soup tasted terrible because no one brought cumin, which is true. When we did it in elementary school, I couldn't spell cumin, so there you go. But no, that's excellent point. Salt and flavor, right, is something else. It's not just the stuff; it's also the stuff that helps it taste wonderful, which we all have unique gifts that we bring to the pot. And you've all heard have you heard the term "something greater than the sum of its parts"? Right? Like if you have you heard that term? No? Okay, I'm checking in with the young people. This is ostensibly a story for the young people. This is for all of us, right? And so if we don't all know stone soup, we might not have all heard. We can together create something greater than maybe each of us could create on our own, right? Than the sum of our parts. Something greater, the whole being greater than the sum of our parts. So yes, that's what we wanted to talk about today. And we're not singing anyone to class, but we are going to sing you guys back to your seats. And it's always nice for us to sing this song together.
Ready? Yes. Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn.
Wow. Our reading this morning is an excerpt from a poem by Rick Barrett called Abundance. Often I am moved by all the information I've gathered, but don't know what to do with, that the needles used for upholstery are curved like parentheses, that there's a star somewhere 200 times bigger than our sun, that far back in its etymology, the closet actually meant a space of intimate privacy where you might welcome others, not a place of shame you're supposed to leave behind. The abundance of that closet crowded now with my fierce friends. The abundance of having a new truth in the mind, the bloom in your senses like biting into a fennel seed. The abundance of America, its orchards and its libraries, its cemeteries and its airports, the circle of people praying in the basement of a church and the muddy field after a festival, the boy counting the 67 rings of the fresh-cut log washed up on the beach, and the girl wearing red sunglasses on the train in the morning, startled awake at her stop, then, like all of us, walking into the day, into the one thing there's plenty of, the future.
Thank you, Jean. Always such a great reading from one of our resident English professors. And thank you, Scott, for being such a good sport and helping out with the story this morning. And thank you all for helping to tell the story. So, how many of you, again, show of hands, have ever fallen asleep on public transit? I don't mean a plane where you're supposed to fall asleep, but like a bus or a train. Okay. A good number of us have I am not just holding my hand up for show. I have also fallen asleep on public transit. How many of you have ever noticed someone else asleep on public transit and wondered, are they going to miss their stop? Should I wake them and ask? Yes, me too, yes. So I used to have a commute, some of my Maryland people will understand this, from Laurel, Maryland to Arlington, Virginia, that was primarily traveled on the Washington, D.C. metro system. I would drive to my nearest metro station, Greenbelt, end of the Green Line, and I'd ride into the heart of D.C., change trains at Metro Center, onto an Orange Line train to the Ballston stop. In the morning, I would sometimes read, but mostly I would stare sleepily at the other commuters around me. In the evening, I might read or stare on the first leg. But once I was on that Green Line train, I would often sleep. I was riding to the last stop, you see, end of the line. No way for me to miss it. But on those days, I know that sounds like I'm setting up a whole other story, and it's actually, I was okay. It's okay. But on those days when I didn't fall asleep, I would wonder at the others who did. They couldn't all be going to the end of the line like I was. I knew how many people got off at that Green Line. I was like, oh, these people aren't all getting off there. Part of me admired how trusting they were of their own instincts and of those around them. Part of me worried about how tired we all were all the time. And part of me remained tentative, looking at my fellow passengers, a kind of furtive gladness that I didn't have to take that kind of risk. Often I am moved by all the information I've gathered but don't know what to do with. That the needles used for upholstery are curved like parentheses. That there's a star somewhere 200 times bigger than our sun. That far back in its etymology, the closet actually meant a space of intimate privacy where you might welcome others, not a place of shame you're supposed to leave behind. The abundance of that closet crowded now with my fierce friends. The abundance of having a new truth in the mind, the bloom in your senses like biting into a fennel seed. The abundance of America, its orchards and its libraries, its cemeteries and its airports, the circle of people praying in the basement of a church and the muddy field after a festival. The boy counting the 67 rings of the fresh-cut log washed up on the beach, and the girl wearing red sunglasses on the train in the morning, startled awake at her stop, then, like all of us, walking into the day, into the one thing there's plenty of, the future. That girl on the train, startled awake at her stop, the poem doesn't tell us how she knew. The poet doesn't speculate as to how she slept on that train, whether the sunglasses rested atop her head or covering her closed eyes in double darkness. But the richness, the abundance we are invited into in this poem is exactly this. From whatever position we occupy, when the time comes, we will be ready. We will be ready to share all that information we might think is useless that someone else might need to know so badly. We will be ready to imagine a sun 200 times larger than our own, and from there to imagine the vastness of this world we can barely begin to know, and be gobsmacked again and again by how much beautiful abundance is within our grasp, even in our tiny corner of earth. We will be ready to welcome new people into our safe spaces. We will be ready for a burst of new taste and new ideas. We will be ready for what time and tides bring to us. And we will be ready for what we might go out and discover in that expansive space, the future. Now, of course, in these times, there are so many forces that may be shrinking our circle of consideration rather than widening it. We may hear of so much loss, harm, pain, and hate on a daily basis that it turns our whole outlook darker. It might make us shrink within ourselves, not open our door to the stranger who needs a potato or a carrot. I know there are many days I would rather hide from the tide of news because I can feel it diminishing my spirit, wearing me down. At the start of this year, I made a small change in one of my daily spiritual practices. Each evening when I'm preparing for bed, putting away screens, I write longhand in a journal for at least a few minutes. This isn't my only journaling practice, but I find using a pen and paper at the end of the day helps to settle my mind. Now, that's been a practice of mine for many years, but that small change that I made in January was that I have started to begin each evening journaling with a gratitude list. Sometimes it is long and effusive. Sometimes it is short and stingy. There are constants on my gratitude lists, my friends, my partner, my cats, and there are new discoveries every day, like the first daffodils that I saw blooming, or the birthday card a friend made for me, or a delicious meal that I'd eaten, or the extremely satisfying conclusion of a book I had just finished. It turns out that what we suspect to be true is actually verifiably true. Gratitude improves our lives and can even be a contributing factor to us living longer lives, having an ever more abundant future, you might say. In a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in July of 2024, a population of 49,275 older female nurses, average age 79. In that population, a 9% reduction in mortality was observed over a span of 4 years after the initial self-reporting in a survey of their own sense of deep gratitude. Now, there has not been an actual establishment of a link of why this happens, but one of the co-authors of the study noted this is a meaningful, if not huge, difference. People who generally appreciated their lives and the things in their lives that gave them joy tended to live longer lives. When we revisited the story of stone soup this morning, we thought about how each of us has things that are unique to us, or I hope we did. I wrote this not knowing how the story would go. When we feel ground down by the world, when we're feeling exhausted or small or hurt or angry, we might just want to keep those things to ourselves. We might think they are of no use to others. What good is a single potato? What good is the knowledge of the star 200 times the size of our sun? Often, I am moved by the information I've gathered, but don't know what to do with. What about all that we have? Gesundheit. What about all that we have that we don't know what to do with? I once attended a party at the home of a friend who is a professional musician, and there were many other musicians at this party, but when someone started playing a fiddle tune and I, a non-musician to be very clear, I decided to grab 2 spoons and start playing, suddenly I was surrounded by all these talented musicians who were keen to learn this small thing I had picked up at summer camp decades before. Every one of us has something we don't know what to do with. But what we don't have is the knowledge of who might know what to do with it, or how powerful our knowledge, or our time, or our space, or yes, our money, might be when combined with the unique gifts of others. Every spring reminds us of all that lies beneath the surface, all the new life and new promise that can burst out, sometimes eagerly early, lulled into a false sense of security by unseasonably warm temperatures. But it reminds us that the very ground that we walk on contains so much more than we see, comprehend, or understand on a daily basis. Spring also reminds us that when we are living in times that feel dark, like winter, when the visual evidence of the earth's abundance is small and hidden, there is another truth outside of that one we might feel trapped inside. When we feel diminished and exhausted by the world we see, imagine the one we cannot see or cannot see yet. The one that does, in fact, exist below the surface, ready to burst into fullness. From whatever position we occupy, when the time comes, we will be ready. Sometimes we have everything we need. Sometimes we can trust that we'll wake up in time for our stop. And sometimes we understand that what we need is other people. We need our friends, and we need every stranger on that train. And like we talked about last week, children need adults, and adults need children. We need our knowledge, our talents, our time, our treasure, and we need the knowledge and talents and time and treasure of so many beyond ourselves to truly live into that abundant future. From whatever position we occupy, when the time comes, we will be ready. And this morning, I speak to you not just of the spiritual nature of abundance, but I invite you to consider the practical, physical nature of what this church has been, is now, and can become, as we strive to grow into the abundance that this faith points to for all. We're not there. It's not a perfect thing. It's not a thing we're done with. But we can continue to work into that future. Now, last year, my first spring with you, we didn't have a business as usual stewardship campaign because this church made the bold and amazing decision to undertake a capital improvements campaign that proved the abundance and generosity of this community. You are going to start seeing, we have regular updates in the newsletters. You are also going to start seeing some real physical changes start happening around here very soon. It's my hope that this year also doesn't feel like business as usual during the annual stewardship campaign. Nothing feels like business as usual right now, honestly. Extraordinary times call for extraordinary gifts, the sorts of seeds we each carry within us that we wish to cultivate to build a more abundant future. In our culture, and we just proved with Stone Soup that we don't necessarily all come from the exact same culture, right? But in the general American culture, it sometimes feels impolite or fraught or just plain wrong to talk about money. That's different in different parts of the country. That's different within different races and ethnic groups. But like on the whole, as a middle-class white person, I was raised not to talk about money. It was impolite. In the meantime, wealth continues to concentrate in the hands of a few, while the vast majority of us feel that sense of shrinking, of lack, and of scarcity. That's real. And when we feel that, I wonder what would happen if we tried to lean into gratitude. What do we already have in our lives that we are so grateful for, that we want to see continue to grow into an abundant future? What about the sanctuary, physical and spiritual, we can receive in this place, where we struggle and grow together on our own spiritual journeys, where we share where we've been and our hopes for where we are going? It is radical to invest in community rather than corporation. It is a radical act of hope in this time of darkness to proudly say, we are shining the light of our faith here. The more of us hold up a flame, the more of us can find our way, can receive warmth. You're going to hear a lot more about the nuts and bolts of this year's stewardship campaign very soon, and reminders across the next few weeks of how much this place means to so many. I can say that along with my own gratitude practice, my practices of generosity bring me a sense of hope and grounding in this world, while dreaming of the bigger, better, more equitable, and just one ahead. So let's move out into our abundant future together. From whatever position we occupy, when the time comes, we will be ready. So may it be.
change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world, and change will come to you. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world, and change will come to you. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world, and change will come to you.
Thank you. The abundant riches of our choir, everyone. Thank you. So this is the time where we normally invite you into generosity, but you might have guessed that today is a little bit special, a little bit different. After we hear from our stewardship co-chair, Judy Nelson, we are going to have the ushers come around and accept your offering. Remember that your pledging is something that we'll start talking about after service today at the luncheon. What you put in the plate this week can go to the current year's pledge or just our general programming and all the other things that we do together. So I would like to welcome at this time stewardship co-chair, Judy Nelson.
Now saying money, money. Shoot it down, turn around, come on, money. Hey, she give us love and I feel alright now. You got me tossing, turning in the middle of the night and I feel alright. I say yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, you make me feel, oh, good. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey. Hi, I'm Judy, and I co-chair the annual pledge drive with Charlie Fisher. And I just want to say that it's really been a delight to chair it with Charlie. And I want to give you a little information about the annual pledge drive. It is exactly as it says it is. It is our yearly pledge where we ask members and friends to pledge money for next year's budget. And this budget covers the operational costs of running the church, the salaries of our awesome minister and our staff. So the fiscal year for next year begins July 1st, and it goes until June 30th of 2027. What it is not is the capital campaign, so thank you so much for mentioning that, Reverend Jen. The theme for this year is abundance. What you give, you get back. So I want you to look around this place and look at the abundance here. This is what I like about this church, is that the mindset, when there's a need, the mindset isn't I can't. The mindset is how can I? When we give our money, we give it because we care, not as an obligation. Our goal this year is $345,000. So we would like everybody, member and friend, to consider, how is your life enriched by receiving the gifts we get here at UUCR? Like an inspirational sermon that we hear week in and week out. I mean, we are quite fortunate to have the Reverend. Maybe it's the sense of community when we're involved in our committees and our groups, or maybe it's getting a hug from Michael Adams, or maybe Maybe it's just having a conversation during coffee hour. All those things, they help us realize how abundant this church is. So we are asking you to think about the abundance and what it's worth to you. Is it worth $30 a week? Is it worth 50? Is it worth 100 or more? Put the love of our church into your pledge and practice generosity. So today is the start of our pledge drive. Now, our pledge drive begins today and it runs through till April 26th. And what we'll do is after every Sunday, Charlie and our captains, and you'll notice our captains because they have the green hats on, will be in the fellowship hall after every Sunday except for today because we have other things to do today. And we can answer your questions and you can fill out your pledge forms then. So today, like I said, is our kickoff. And we have our catered lunch. So if you did not have the opportunity to sign up for the luncheon, you'll get another chance. Come April 12th, we're having another info session. And what's great about that is you don't have to make a reservation. You can just show up. But if you did sign up, well, we're really glad that you're here because we have nearly 90 people who are going to show up for this luncheon. So talk about abundance. So it's going to take us a little bit of time to set up the fellowship, set up this the sanctuary, and Charlie will be here, afterwards to make sure that you find out how we're going to be doing it. And when we are all ready for the luncheon, we're going to ring the bell to let everybody know that it's time to have a seat. So what I'd like everyone to do is to look at your budget, to consider the gifts you receive from UUCR, increase your pledge so you can live longer, all right? And that this church can thrive for the coming years. So thank you. I'm gonna change hats now. I forgot to grab Catherine's hat, but that's okay. So now we're going back to the regular service where it's time for the offertory. And this is not the annual pledge drive part. That was, okay. So the ushers in just a moment will gratefully receive this week's collection. And thank you all in advance for your generosity. It means so much to come here every Sunday and feel the abundance of our community. Thank you.
Money, money, so good to me. All right, just kidding. You are welcome to join us in the offertory from your seats today. We're going to be singing hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life. You may stay seated if you'd like to join us, and the choir will lead us in this lovely song.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Thank you.
Today. We have a lot going on in our church, and if you would like something going on in your life presented in the morning on Sunday mornings, all you have to do is pop quiz. Who knows? Write it in the book, or call the office, or let somebody on the caring committee know. I thought you guys would do really well with that pop quiz. So we have several items this morning. Let's see. We have new artwork, I bet you've noticed, in both of the rooms. So please take time to enjoy the work and remember that a portion goes to the church in every sale. Please wish Shay Foreman a happy 82nd birthday. We are so grateful for her assistance with the coffee services after church and a frequent volunteer. We appreciate you, Shay. Happy birthday, Shay. And thirdly, Kathy Ratliff has now a new home at Woodland Hills. She welcomes any company, and I have her telephone number here in the book. If you would like to see it afterwards, it will be on the altar. You can come by and check out her telephone number. Kathy welcomes love from everybody here. So now it's your opportunity to come forward and light a candle for something in your heart this morning. Please use both sides of the altar.
And this first Sunday of spring, I actually have a special reflection. It's a poem. But before I get to that, I will light this candle. It's so hard for me to pick every week. So I will light this candle for the health and well-being of all here gathered, of all that everyone that you know, the web that we weave, where each of you is both the center of it in your life and also only a tiny part. So everyone that our lives touch, we're holding them all in care and love this morning, given everything that may be impacting our own well-being. So this is for everyone. And as I do each week, I will light one candle for those who are joining us online this morning. We know you are not physically present with us in the sanctuary, but we feel your spirit. I usually pray extemporaneously, but I found that a friend shared this poem and I couldn't not share it. So I would invite you into a posture for a prayer, for reflection. Make yourself comfortable in your seats. Close your eyes or soften your gaze if that is comfortable for you. In honor of the spring equinox and all that we carry together and separately right now, I'm going to share this poem. It's part of a larger poem called Reciprocity Suite by Elizabeth Carruthers Heron, and this portion is called Heart. Let my heart be a sunrise, bravely beginning in the morning. Let my heart be a river, traveling ever home to the sea. Let it carry my praise to all creatures. Let me sing praises for the gifts of rain and sun-warmed seeds that nourish all I love. Let my prayers of gratitude fly up in all seasons. Let them rise with the smoke from my winter hearth. Let them rise with the wings of the wren and the sparrow in springtime and the songs of the coyotes joyous with summer hunting. May I carry my own dark stones, call them by name, and blame no one. May the wisdom of ancestors guide my thoughts and my hands. May their wisdom guide my feet. May I walk the path of kindness. May all beings be safe in the world's ever becoming. So may it be.
So now, as we draw close to the end of our time together in worship this week, we turn our attention from the joys and concerns within our own hearts and to the work of the week ahead. We begin with a few announcements. So today, as you may have noticed, is the start of our annual pledge drive, and we will need your help once the service is concluded in turning things around and helping get the tables set up. So, in addition, anyone who is able to stay a bit longer after the lunch and help take the tables down at the end, that would be great. But there's more. This afternoon at 3 is the monthly Roanoke Speaks open mic gathering right here in the sanctuary. So what you can do is help move the chairs and tables around after the campaign event, and then stay and enjoy poems, songs, and stories shared by folks within the larger community. So if you want to, you can even sign up. There's a sign-up sheet, and share yourself if you feel moved. Whether or not you move the furniture, I think it's okay. Next Sunday, which is March 29th, we are honored to welcome the Gay Men's Chorus of Washington, D.C. for a concert here, also at 3. No ticket is required. Seating is first come, first served. Word is there's going to be a big crowd for this pretty wonderful event. So the advice is come early a little bit and grab a seat then.
Thank you, Jean. And to underline what Jean noted, I want to make sure it's very clear. So if you did sign up for this lunch, awesome, great, wonderful, 90 people. We are going to need some help getting the tables and chairs reconfigured. We can do this calmly. If you can't stay today, didn't sign up, we still have coffee hour. There is still coffee. If you just feel like you're going to get in the way and you're not going to help move tables today, go on in to the fellowship hall, have coffee, chat with one another. As Judy already mentioned, we'll ring a bell to bring everyone back together. We are so grateful and glad for your rolling with this, trying to host a 90-person lunch immediately after this worship. Is going to take a little bit of beloved community chaos. Charlie Fisher, who is, there we go, standing up at the back and has her hat, and if you don't know Charlie, he'll wave a clipboard around like, there we go. Charlie Fisher, everyone. I would say everybody in this room can't see Charlie. Charlie has charts and has put tape on the floor and knows where the tables are going to go. So calmly proceed if you can help move tables to Charlie, and he will direct us. And now I will ask Jean, who's been waiting patiently, to extinguish our chalice as we do each week and as we do in Unitarian Universalist churches, congregations, and communities across the nation and the world, understanding that the flame of our faith does not just live in a specific place in our sanctuary, but is carried with us within our hearts.
Before I invite you to stand and sing, just want to make a note. You would help us all immensely if you would return your hymnals to the rack at the conclusion of the service. In the meantime, stand and join us with your abundant voices in singing We'll Build a Land, hymn number 121.
We'll build a land of people so bold.
you for the gift this morning of music, for the gift of story and poetry and interpretation. Thank you for the gift of your presence. Let us go in peace into the week ahead. And again, and I want to say especially, if this is your first week here and this is the first time you ever decided to join us and you're like, why are we changing all the tables? What is this lunch? What is going on? You are so, so welcome. If you are not sure what to do next, come find me. I will help you. Because everybody else has jobs and I'm just going to hang out. So thank you for being here. Go into the week in peace.